Hi, I'm Dan Reganold from Cincinnati, Ohio. I have got this crazy idea in my head that Congress still works for us and that we the people can tell them what to do. At the very top of my list is to force them to pass a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution. We have to stop the spending and debt binge that we are currently on. I'd like to ask you to sit back for a minute and just reflect and understand the complete financial mess we are in. Our country is literally hemorrhaging money right now. This year we're going to spend 35% more money than we take in taxes. In February alone, we borrowed a record $229 billion. That amounts to $760 for every man, woman, and child in the United States. Let's take a look. Here is one of our trusty pink piggy banks. This is really a symbol of American savings and fiscal responsibility. What you can see here is 38 pigs. Each one of these pigs represents $100 billion for a total of $3.8 trillion that the United States will spend this year. The $229 billion we borrowed in February is right here. Well, 14 of these pigs represents $1.4 trillion. This is money that we don't actually have the money for, we have to borrow. Could you imagine in your own personal family if you borrowed this much more money than you took in, what would happen? And in the case of the United States, 6 pigs, or $600 billion, the Treasury went out to sell notes for them, and nobody would buy the notes. So we just printed the money. At some point, this will lead to massive inflation. I'm going to ask you to help this country take a step in the right direction now. Go to a new website called WeDemandABalancedBudget.com. The 38 founders of this website now ask you to send an important signal to Congress and the President. We ask you to pledge not to support or send any money to any candidate until they agree to support what we are calling the People's Balanced Budget Amendment. This amendment is simple and says 4 things in just 269 words. It says, number 1, that the budget will be balanced in 7 years. And number 2, to accomplish that, the deficit will be reduced 1/7 each of the next 7 years. Once the budget is balanced, Congress can spend no more than the average income of the previous 3 years. And lastly, in the case of an emergency, like a Hurricane Katrina or a war, Congress can override the provisions of the Balanced Budget Amendment with a 2/3 vote. This whole debt and deficit thing we're looking at is just a real-life Ponzi scheme, almost like Bernie Madoff. It's happening in front of our very eyes. Make no mistake, if we don't change our course, the United States will crash like other deficit spenders like Greece. Many of our elected officials are just too busy to even appear concerned. We the people have wisely commissioned every state, local, and county official with a simple task. They must, by law, balance their budget. Our federally elected officials should be no different. People in 46 states have already taken the pledge. You can too. Stand up now for fiscal sanity for our country. Take the pledge and tell your friends now. Thank you very much.